Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And then remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Now, Josh, I noticed you didn't do this one because you've got little ones. Barbie and Barney Backlash Day. Get a little arguments going on there. Are those even relevant anymore? Barney and Barbie? Are they? I don't know. My grandson doesn't seem to mention Barney at all. I don't think he even notices. Okay. Barbie's been around for 600 years. You know, I don't think Barbie ever goes anywhere. Barbie's, it's just, that's one of those old staples. Barney, I guess Barney's a little outdated, but well, of course, then so am I. So I guess I shouldn't even talk about being outdated. So let's go to something I can really get behind. You said it. Today is National Cupcake Day. So what is your favorite kind of cupcake? Now, I notice on the picture, there's no chocolate. So, that's my go-to is chocolate for anything. But today's National Cupcake Day. What's your favorite cupcake? Do you have a favorite? Do you even like cupcakes? Now, on this weight loss journey of mine, I don't eat much in the way of cupcakes anymore. It's fascinating how you do these things. And I noticed watching the Business Channel this morning, I noticed that all of the big pharmaceutical stocks are really taking a big jump today. I wonder if it's because they're still dealing with all these weight loss shots. Now, I'm a big proponent of the weight loss shots. I don't care what anybody says. I hear some people say, well, it's cheating, Ron. You have to do it the old-fashioned way. Well, I've been trying the old-fashioned way for the last 63 years. It hasn't worked. Of course, it did work for about 5 years after I had my bariatric bypass surgery. But right now, I'm about 116 pounds down. And I know a lot of people will say, well, they don't even weigh 116. I had somebody just the other day we were talking, and they said, I've lost more than but my family has lost more than what they weigh. Now, I would venture to say that there's a lot of people that would say that, because I think between me and my sons, and I'm not going to mention the wife because that'll get me in trouble, but between me and the boys, I think we're well over 200 pounds. So I think a lot of people are under 200. So rsrlinks.com/shot. And now that I started taking these shots, I've started doing a lot of research into this. And again, some of these things do get me in trouble because, there's a lot of stuff with the drug companies that, I wonder how much they're really trying to help us. And I know for a fact, some of them, all they care about is their profits. My bariatric doctor did a double-blind study because he's a researcher. Did a double-blind study on bariatric bypass surgery, and he's got a 98% cure rate of type 2 diabetes if caught in the first 7 years, I think was what the study was. Don't hold me to the exact numbers because I didn't participate in the study. But 98% cure rate. So he goes to the endocrinologists to present the findings that are published, by the way. And all they want to know is, what is the cost-benefit analysis? So he asked them, do you ask the same question about cardiology and orthopedics? Well, there's a lot of money in having people with diabetes. Now you look and you see with these drug companies, their stocks are dramatically higher. And you wonder, okay, there's a lot of money in keeping us fat. And I would say I'm by no means skinny. Even though I've lost, 115, 120 pounds, depending upon the day, I still have a ways to go. I've still got the pouch out front. How much more am I going to lose? I don't know. But the shots, they do help. And I've started studying a lot of peptides now because you got to do your own research. You got to understand these things. Now, I guess anything you take into the doctor, and I've got a great doctor. I've got a great team of doctors. But, I'll go to them with ideas, ask them because they're the smart ones. I tell people all the time when I was in college, you don't learn as much about answers as you do about questions. So I consistently ask my medical folks questions because I can do all this research, but they're the experts in this, and they know how these things interact with my body, my situation. It's not all one size fits all. Now, I did hear again another doctor on this morning talking about there's a lot of people that don't like vaccines, and I can understand that. But now there's an outbreak of measles in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And you say, oh, where's Spartanburg, South Carolina, Ron? I have no idea. But it's a county in South Carolina that's got now 120 school-aged children have got measles, 250 quarantined. Now, how'd you like to have your child quarantined for the holidays? 90% chance of getting the measles if you're exposed. 97% effective with 2 doses on the vaccine. Now, do I like all the vaccines? No, I don't believe that every kid should go and have, 100 vaccines in their first 100 days. Just not my belief. But there are certain ones, measles, polio. Those are things where the vaccines have absolutely proven that they're effective. Now, does a child need a hepatitis vaccine? Maybe in certain circumstances, but again, I don't know those answers. But as a blanket for everybody, I got to wonder. I just posed the questions. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, yes, Chapman University did deliver their economic forecast on Thursday last week, and I watched the whole thing. We're going to report on it, how it affects housing and what it means they're forecasting for housing going into 2026. We'll talk about it. Beyond the rate, why your mortgage deserves better questions. How to stretch your options, not your budget. Real estate, that's our topic. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. And let's see, what did the every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They do not tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you put in your mortgage calculator to determine your principal and interest payment. And that's the important number because that's how you deal with your budget. The other numbers can be manipulated. I will tell you that. I understand the process. I understand exactly how one could manipulate the numbers if they want to. What did the rates look like on Friday? Most of them were up. Conventional 30-year fixed, 6.243. Jumbo 30-year fixed, 6.479. FHA 30-year fixed, 6.057. VA 30-year fixed, 5.977. All of those were up. The only one that was down is the USDA loan, 30-year fixed, 5.783. The only one that was down. So we're watching all of them for you. If you want our thoughts about the market each and every business day morning, as early as the data allows, go to the Ron Siegel Radio community. It is free to you. rsrlinks.com/HBOD. rsrlinks.com/HBOD. So what did the rates do on Friday? Where were the rates on? In fact, I didn't even get into this in the last segment. Man, Josh, I got to talking so much that I never even got into the numbers. So we watch the numbers like a hawk all the time. We're always looking at, I've generally got sitting on my screen at any given time. Now, sometimes my computer decides to, do you ever have a computer that goes on break? Yeah, so mine's every once in a while decides that it needs a little bit of time off, that we're pushing it too hard, which means sometimes I have to do things 2 or 3 times. But we're looking at it. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is now down 10.42. NASDAQ down 101 points. This is an interesting one because we got the Dow Jones down 11.42. NASDAQ down 101. Yet the S&P 500 is up 1.97. And oil is down 81 cents a barrel at $56.63 a barrel on oil. 10-year Treasury is pretty much flat, 4.18. And we've got the mortgage bond now. That's flat as well, sitting there, no change for the day. What's driving all of it? Well, this is, other than today, we've got a busy week of economic data. So I'm looking at the economic data for today, and there was really not a whole lot. The New York Fed manufacturing number came in. National Association of Home Builders came in. So what are we watching for? It's gonna start piling on as the week progresses. And why would they do that to us in the middle of the holidays? So we're watching when is the president going to announce who his pick is for the new Fed chairman? Kevin. I think we can go pretty confidently that the new Fed chair nominee will be Kevin. I don't know whether it's going to be Kevin Hassett or Kevin Warsh, but we'll see what it looks like. It seems like it's going to be one of the Kevins will be our next Fed chair. Either one would be good choices, and obviously, in my opinion, much better than Jerome Powell.
Such an idiot.
Yeah. So tomorrow we're going to get the BLS will release their October, November jobs reports, which have been delayed due to the government shutdown. October will not include the household survey, which means there will be no unemployment rate, but the November report will be a full release. So we'll get the November unemployment. Market is anticipating there to be 40 to 50,000 jobs created in November, with the unemployment rate either remaining at 4.4% or rising to 4.5%. Based on all the other private data sources available, the amount of jobs created will come in beneath estimates, I think. Remember, Powell even said he felt the BLS was overstating jobs by 60,000 per month. Ow! Yeah, that's a painful number. And his dovish tone at their last meeting could have been a result of getting an early look at these numbers. I don't know if he saw them, but maybe he did. We also think the unemployment rate will rise to 4.5%, possibly even 4.6, as the last report for September showed 4.44, which was within a whisker of already being rounded to 4.5. Lastly, wages have been decelerating in the ADP and Employment Cost Index reports. The most recent year-over-year reading for hourly earnings within the jobs report was 3.8%, and the market is expecting that to drop to 3.6%. This would show lower wage-pressured inflation, which the bond market would like. Bottom line, good chance that tomorrow's BLS jobs report will be bond-friendly. Cotality released their third quarter home equity report, showing that on average, homeowners have $300,000 in equity thanks to the magic elixir of appreciation and amortization. A large portion of that equity is tappable, which means that if rates continue to fall, consumers may be more inclined to utilize some of their equity. Average equity figure has declined slightly due to some markets around the country experiencing modest price declines. Not surprisingly, those with the most inventory. As a result, homes in negative equity have increased by 21%, which sounds very bad. It's important to look at this with some perspective because percentages can be misleading, especially when coming off very low numbers. Here's a breakdown of the housing market. 1.36 million total households in the U.S., 91 million homes owned, 67% home ownership rate, 56.5 million currently have a mortgage. That's 62%. Total number of homes underwater is 1.2 million. While the report showed that this is an increase of 21% from the previous one, it comes from a very, very low number. Additionally, homes with negative equity are only 1.3% of the total owned homes and 2.1% of the homes with a mortgage. Very healthy housing market. Remember, 15 years ago, 25% of homes with a mortgage were underwater. According to the Financial Times, 9 million student loan borrowers missed one or more payments this year, which represents 20% of total borrowers. On average, these borrowers' credit scores have dropped by 100 points. 10% have seen their scores fall beneath 620 because of delinquency. This is likely going to affect first-time home buyers who are already seeing their median age increase to 47 years. And remember, it's all about the strategy. So give us a call. Let's put together a debt strategy for you, for your family. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. So yes, last Thursday afternoon, I have no life. So I spent that time Thursday watching the Chapman economic forecast. And being that I was on the forecast staff back in 1980, probably before, Josh, I think before you were around, right? 83? Yeah, before Josh, I was actually on the economic forecast staff for Chapman, before any of my kids, before I was married even. So in 1983, I was on that forecast staff. So I do have an affinity for watching what they have to say. And I think now they're on the 48th year, something like that. So here you go. Here's the economic forecast as presented by Jim Doty and his team at Chapman University. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, how to stretch your options, not your budget, beyond the rate. Why your mortgage deserves better questions, and your equity could change everything about your next move. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. How to stretch your options, not your budget. One of the biggest home buying advantages you can give yourself today is surprisingly simple. A flexible wish list. Think of it like this. Your wish list and your budget are the guardrails of your search. And when your budget needs to hold firm, there's another lever you can pull. That's seeing if you truly need all of your desired features. Because the truth is, a small compromise could be the difference between feeling stuck and getting the keys to your next home. The data shows more buyers are using that strategy to offset affordability hurdles in today's market. A recent study from Cotality found most buyers, 70%, ended up compromising on one or more items from the original wish list. But before they started searching, only 33% expected to compromise at all. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk, AM 1490 or FM 98.1 video feed, you are seeing that chart that most buyers realize a small compromise can really open up their options. What changed? They realized something during the search. The things you can't change matter far more than the things you can update later. You can install hardwood floors, put those marble countertops, upgrade the bathrooms down the line. You can't easily add land, tack on more bedrooms or bathrooms, move the house closer to the people you care about. In the end, things like the location, layout, and overall bones matter far more than the cosmetic features you can change later. And that realization is power. So if you're hitting a wall in your search or you're browsing online and just not seeing it, here's an easy exercise that can reset the whole experience. Write down everything you want in a home, then sort it into 3 brackets. The must-haves, your non-negotiables, the things that make daily life workable, the number of bedrooms, the number of the length of your commute, accessibility, safety, or being close to your family or support system. Nice-to-haves, features you'd absolutely enjoy but aren't truly essential. Some examples: a fenced-in backyard, dual closet in the owner's suite, or a stamped patio. Dream features, the extras that would truly be over the top. They're the things you think about when you say, one day I want to have, fill in the blank. It's great if you get them, but totally fine if you don't, for now. Once you divide your list, you'll notice something. Your wish list can either limit your options or open them up. Sometimes you're treating nice-to-haves like must-haves. Loosen that up even a little, and suddenly more homes come into range, including homes you may have scrolled past that could actually work for your lifestyle. Your next home doesn't need to check every box. It just needs to check the right ones. Maybe that means considering a house that needs light cosmetic updates. Maybe it means choosing a slightly smaller yard for a better location. These are not sacrifices. They're worthwhile trade-offs that get you into a home. Just remember, anything cosmetic can be upgraded over time, but getting the right bones, the right layout, the right location, that's what sets you up for the long run. An agent helps you see the possibilities. If you're not sure what to hold firm on and where you can flex, that's where a trusted agent can be a game changer. They'll help you spot the opportunities, walk you through what features you truly shouldn't budge on, and determine which ones you can add later when the time is right. Bottom line, If you're ready to find that it's both your budget and your life, let's take a look at your wish list. With a local expert on your side, it's easier to see where a little flexibility can open up a lot more opportunity. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. So we got a workshop for you today, Mortgage 101, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/Sora, rsrlinks.com/Sora. If you're shopping for a mortgage right now, I can almost guarantee you're asking the wrong first question. Most people walk into a mortgage conversation asking about interest rates, and they walk away with a loan that looks good on paper, but doesn't actually fit their life. Today, I'm going to show you the question you should be asking instead, and why getting this wrong could cost you thousands of dollars you'll never get back. I am Ron Siegel, Certified Liability Advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. The question that changes everything. Most people ask, what's the interest rate? That's reasonable, but here's the better question. How long do you really realistically expect to have this loan? Not the house, the loan. People refinance, they move, income changes, life evolves. Understanding your timeline shapes almost every decision that follows. So why the lowest interest rate isn't always best? Every mortgage has a cost. The difference is how and when you pay for it. You can pay more upfront in fees to secure a lower interest rate. You can accept a slightly higher rate and reduce upfront costs through credits. Neither option is automatically better. The key is understanding the break-even point. That's when paying upfront fees actually starts saving you money compared to a higher rate, lower cost option. Here's what that looks like in real life. Let's say you're looking at a $750,000 mortgage and comparing two options. Option A, 6.25% interest rate, $4,000 in fees. Option B, 6.625 interest rate with zero fees. Option A saves you about $175 a month compared to option B. Sounds better, right? But you paid $4,000 up front for that savings. Your break-even point is roughly 23 months, just under 2 years. If you refinance, sell, or pay off the loan before that 2-year mark, you actually lost money by choosing the lower rate. This is where strategy beats rate always, and it's why I tell you our two-step doesn't matter what the interest rate is right now because we're dealing with short-term. rsrlinks.com/two-step if you haven't seen that. So looking just beyond just the mortgage, it isn't a standalone decision. It affects your monthly cash flow, your flexibility, and often your peace of mind. That's why working with a true mortgage advisor, not just a platform or rate engine, makes a meaningful difference. A thoughtful advisor looks at more than just your mortgage. How does this payment fit into your monthly budget? What's happening with your other financial obligations? What are your plans for the next few years? How does this loan support where you're trying to go financially? Sometimes the biggest improvement isn't the lowest possible mortgage payment. It's strengthening your overall financial position so things feel more manageable month to month. Technology and AI have made mortgage faster and more accessible. That's a good thing. But efficiency isn't the same as advice. Technology can compare rates and run scenarios in seconds. It can show you what you qualify for. It can even tell you your monthly payment down to the penny. What it can't do is understand your priorities, explain your trade-offs in plain language, or help you think through consequences that don't fit neatly into an algorithm. Here's the critical difference. Easy for me to say. Technology tells you about eligibility. A mortgage advisor helps you understand suitability. Eligibility just means you can get the loan. Your credit score is high enough. Your income checks the boxes. The computer says yes. Suitability means the loan actually fits your situation. It makes sense for where you're going, not just where you are today. AI can deliver answers about eligibility. A mortgage advisor helps you understand whether that loan is actually suitable for your life. Can AI tell you about break-even points? Sure. Can it help you decide whether that break-even timeline makes sense for your situation? Not really. Can technology show you the lowest rate? Absolutely. Can it explain why that might not be your best choice based on what you're trying to accomplish? No. You might be eligible for a 15-year mortgage at a great rate, but if that higher payment creates stress in your monthly budget or limits your ability to handle unexpected expenses, is it suitable? That takes judgment, not just calculation. A true mortgage advisor doesn't just tell you about what you qualify for. They help you understand your options, the trade-offs between them, the timing of your decisions, the long-term impact of your choices. The goal isn't just closing a loan. It's helping you make a decision you won't regret later. That takes human judgment, experience, and a willingness to ask better questions. If you're thinking about refinancing or buying a home, don't just chase the lowest rate. Let's look at your complete situation, create a strategy that actually works for your life. Start easy. We've got several tools for you. We're going to run through some of these tools right now. rsrlinks.com/Sora. rsrlinks.com/Sora. That's a tool that's 30 seconds, and it gives us an idea of what your liabilities look like. rsrlinks.com/Sora. If you have equity in your property and credit card debt, once we look at that Sora report, rsrlinks.com/2step might be a solution for you. rsrlinks.com/2step might be a solution for you. And to monitor your credit scores and your identity theft, your budget, your plans, rsrlinks.com/keysteps, rsrlinks.com/keysteps. All different tools for you. Remember, strategy beats rate always. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. And that is Mortgage 101, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/Sora, rsrlinks.com/Sora. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, why selling your house this winter gives you an edge. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message. And I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com. rsrmoney.com. Why selling your house this winter gives you an edge. Spring gets all the attention, but it's not always the best time to sell your house. Yes, more buyers show up, but so do a lot of other sellers. Winter is different. With fewer homes on the market, your house has a much better chance of standing out. And that one advantage can make a big difference. History shows the number of homes for sale tends to drop during the winter months. It's a trend that's predictable almost every year. Data from Realtor.com shows this pattern clearly. Inventory dips in the winter, then climbs again as soon as spring approaches. And if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 or FM 98.1 video feed, you are seeing that chart. The number of homes for sale usually dips in the winter. And based on the latest data available, it looks like that pattern may be true again in 2025. The graph shows the supply of homes for sale is starting to come down as we head into the end of the year. And if history is any indicator of where it goes next, it'll continue to fall just like it usually does. Here's why knowing this gives you an edge. While inventory is higher now than it's been in the last few years, there are still not as many homes for sale as they'd be in a normal market, 2017 to 2019. And we may even be poised for inventory to dip a bit as the weather cools. That gives you an opportunity. If you work with an agent to list now, you'll sell while other homeowners are taking their homes off the market and before the number of homes for sale climbs this spring. Less competition from others now equals more attention on your house this season. Why wait until everyone else lists in the spring when you can get ahead of the crowd? Another big perk is the buyers looking right now usually need to move. They're not just browsing for fun. They got better things to do during the holidays. They're relocating for work, dealing with a lease end, making a big life change, or simply ready to move forward sooner rather than later. As U.S. News explains, quote, buyers who are trudging through wintry weather often have a good reason for being out in the cold. They need to move, whether it's a relocation for a new job, a divorce, or the arrival of a new baby. Buyers who brave the elements are usually serious and able to make quick decisions, unquote. That means fewer weekend warriors and more highly motivated, qualified buyers walking through your door. And since we know inventory usually drops this time of year, odds are they'll have a little less to choose from compared to the fall. If you price and prep your home right, maybe your house will be the one that catches their eye. Bottom line, winter might not get the same buzz as spring, but that's exactly why it works in your favor. Less competition from others, more motivated buyers, and a chance for your house to truly stand out. If you're thinking about selling this season can give you a real advantage, let's connect and talk through what listing now could look like for you. That's the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. And we did share with you, I think last week we might have talked about it, a new advertising platform that we're rolling out at Ron Siegel Radio. And the initial trials are showing that we can put your house in front of a lot of people in a very, very short period of time. How about like 2,000 people a day? Now, if you're looking to sell your house, you got to price it right. That's the first thing. But your marketing strategy must be right as well. And we haven't even talked about the advertising strategy that we've been sampling recently. And again, it's in a time period, we're doing this test late November, early December. So it's not the best time. It's only the qualified buyers are really out there looking. The qualified sellers are out there looking. But if you want to get the most money for your property, got to get it in front of people, and you got to follow the strategies that we tell you. rsrlinks.com/salesmax. rsrlinks.com/salesmax. So we actually show you right there how to get the most possible money for your property. rsrlinks.com/salesmax. It's a beautiful process, and we go through the whole story right there for you. So, if you want to sell now and you want to get your house in front of more people, which, by the way, is what drives your pricing higher, rsrlinks.com/salesmax, and make sure you're working with our team. I think we have time for one more quick real-time real estate. Real-time real estate brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Your equity could change everything about your next move. A lot of people are asking the same thing right now. Is it even a good time to sell? And the truth may come as a bit of a surprise. For many homeowners, the answer is a strong yes. Why? Because one major factor working in your favor, your equity. Odds are, if you've lived in your home for a while, you have significant equity, but how much are we really talking about? The number might just change everything about your next move. Here's how it works. When you own a home, you build up something called equity. Each time you make a mortgage payment, you're chipping away at your loan balance, and that helps your ownership stake in your home grow. At the same time, home values typically rise, which drives up the overall value of your home. When you put those two things together, you're building wealth automatically, month after month, year after year. And that combo can add up to real dollars that can make a real difference in your move. That's especially true if you've lived in a house for a while, which many homeowners have. According to Realtor.com, nearly half, 45.2% of today's homeowners have lived in their home more than 15 years, and 1 in 4 for over 25 years. If that's you, just imagine what 15 to 25 years of payments plus steady appreciation have done to your bottom line. It's time you see how your equity stacks up over time. The chart that we're going to show you uses research coming out of Realtor.com to show an estimate of how much equity homeowners have built up depending upon when they bought. For each time frame, it takes the median price home and uses it as a baseline example. The numbers are shocking too. According to the study, if you bought the average price home in the mid-1990s, you could be sitting on over $400,000 in equity now. In the early 2000s, you could have $330,000, even with owning during the housing crash. In 2015, even that shorter 10-year time frame, many homeowners have built nearly $285,000 in equity. Of course, your actual number is going to vary based on the purchase price, any work you've done to the house, the size of your original down payment, and more. The point is, a lot of homeowners are sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity without even realizing it. Here's where this becomes really important. That equity can offset nearly every concern you have about moving right now. Worried about taking on a higher mortgage rate? Your equity could cover a significant down payment, and the more money you put down, the less you need to finance at today's rates. Your equity could help you with buying down the interest rate. rsrlinks.com/buydown. rsrlinks.com/buydown. Unsure if you can compete in today's market? That's thanks to your equity. You may be able to buy your next house in cash. An all-cash offer is something that's going to appeal to a lot of sellers because they don't have to worry about the buyer's financing falling through at the last second. Bottom line, if you haven't had someone help you understand the value of your home this year, now's the perfect to take another look. It doesn't mean you have to sell, but it does mean you'll at least know what you could be working with and how far that number can take you. That's a real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean, who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.